Yeah.
So Kev, a 3-0 win last Saturday. How good was it to get 3 more points on the board?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, was the 3 points, of course, and to do it, to get 3 goals and a clean sheet is a plus as well. So delighted, of course, with that. Still things we want to do better, but overall it's nice to, especially when you're going to a full week, without midweek games. It's nice to have that Saturday where you've won, and just gets us back on track a little bit as well.
And if I may, could I ask, is there an update on Norasin's condition after he went off injured?
Yeah, obviously, as you probably know, it probably weren't a great one. Goes in for an op tomorrow, and we'll have work done on his ACL and a couple of other bits that have come up as well. But until you have the op and the surgeon goes in as well, that's probably not right for me to tell you the full story. They don't know sometimes, but yeah, not a good one, and it's going to be out for a long period.
And then looking at this week of preparation, it's the first time we've had a full week between the first and the second game of the season.
Yeah.
How have you managed to sort of take stock over this week?
Yeah, listen, I think it's important we get some right rest and recovery. I think there's a few bumps and bruises along the way, and 1 or 2 carrying knocks that we've had to manage during the week, at the start of the week. But nice to have that little bit of a break, because it's been hectic, obviously, from the start of the season for everyone, by the way. And when you do it off the back of a win, it's always nicer.
When looking at the games that we've played, we've had lots of different goal scorers, and 4 of them have scored in multiple matches. How pleasing is it for you to have all of these people that are getting on the score sheet on regular occasions?
Yeah, listen, I'm never overly fussed as long as we're scoring. I think that's the most important thing. I think we've tended to score from different areas of the pitch. Gussie does what he's been doing again. And Dallow's come in and now he's up to speed, and so it's good throughout the team that they chip in, and Sam Austin's done his bit, which is pleasing. But I think when you want your forward scoring goals, and they're nearly all up and running, which is good, and that gives you good competition in them areas.
And then looking at Saturday's opponents, Boston United, they finished the season really strongly with those 10 wins in 14 games. How much of a challenge do they pose? Yeah,
hugely. And as you say, they had a brilliant end to the season, and would have been right up there in terms of the form and what they've done. So, Cocker done a brilliant job there. And, we know how they probably wanted more from the start of the season. And we'll be a little bit disappointed, but that can change, and they'll be fine. And once they get going, I'm sure they'll start picking up the league, and they'll come and make it really difficult. See them at Hartlepool, they've done the same, and even though they lost at Solihull, they maybe didn't deserve to. And we know they're going to come. They'll be physical. They'll be, the restarts are going to be important, and we're going to have to perform, because they will ask questions. And knowing Cocker so well, that any of his teams will definitely be putting it up to you.
Perfect, thanks Kev.
Kevin, you described the FC Halifax Town win as the perfect response to that defeat in midweek against Wealdstone. After that, what was your message to your players after the game?
No, I think it was, just being consistent, level-headed. We want to win football matches. I don't think it's changed in terms of even when we lost during the week. It was to remain consistent. I keep saying that, and just learning from what you did wrong, and I think that was important. And even when you can learn off wins brilliantly, but sometimes when losses you can learn again. And I think that was always the most important thing, that we learned from that and got better again. And I think we done what we were good at, but improved things we needed to improve.
Yeah, you've touched on it there. You said you feel like there's more to come from this team. So how has this week been? And what sort of things have you been looking at in this week that you've had a full training game? Yeah,
as I say, because it's the first break you've had, it's important some of them get some rest, and they probably needed that, some of them, and some have to train a bit more, and it's managing that balance. But I think we're always pretty similar in what a week looks like, and from 1 game week to 2 game weeks, and what that is, and the detail for the weekend starts properly today, and tomorrow will be again. Consistent is probably the word that we'll be using more so.
I mean, it's clear to see on the pitch how well these guys are getting together with the great form you've had to start with. But I'm speaking to Sam Austin just before as well, it seems like he's settled in really quickly here as well. How are these guys bonding not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well, and how important is that for what you guys are doing?
Yeah, and I think that's a credit to the ones who've come in and the ones who've probably made them welcome. I think we've boys you can see settled in, and I think he knew Dallo as well, which probably helped in terms of knowing each other. And they're settled in now, got their places to live and become part of the group if you want. And I think that's hugely important. And I think credit to the players who are in the building that they never make it difficult. I heard lads, after training go and whether they play golf or go for a coffee or they spend time together, which is important. And I think spending time here, part of that as well. So it's really important, and it's something we've always prided ourselves on. And I think when you recruit good people as well. I think that's a big plus.
Who's the best golfer?
Gus, I think, Gus is up there, man. But I think the standard's pretty good from what I gather. Gus, Ollie Coker's off single figures, Adam Crowther can play, Gubbo plays, Hops plays. So a bit of a throwback in terms of footballers playing golf again, which is nice.
Definitely. So just returning to Norasin and that injury, obviously still waiting to see the full scope of that one. But you've got a really competitive midfield group in there already. But how much of an impact would the loss of Norasin be for a longer period? Yeah,
I think that goes without saying. He's probably been one of our better or more consistent players throughout the start of the season, even back into last year, because he missed pre-season last year. And a huge loss in terms of not just what it does on the pitch, but it's what people don't see every day. In terms of standards around the place, how you train, how you look after yourself, how you be a professional in every moment of the day, not just when you're in the building, but when you're away from that. And he's exemplary at that, and he's going to be a huge loss. And something we're going to have to deal with. And that's up to the others to step up. And we've got to make sure that when he comes back, we're in a good position for that.
So he goes on the injury bench. I think it was just Joshua Walker and Slavis Barzov on there as well. How are they doing?
Yeah, okay. Got them doing some training this week, which is good, and we'll see how they are for Saturday.
You mentioned Andy Dallas earlier there as well. We got on the scoreboard in that win against FC Halifax Town, and it's a great team, just getting better and better. How pleased are you with what you're seeing from Andy? Yeah,
delighted. I think knew what we were getting in terms of forward. We knew he'd maybe take a little bit of time to get up to speed, which is why we kept playing him, and it was the best way to do that because he hadn't had any minutes in pre-season, but he wants to score. And you can see the goals he got at Solihull, and obviously the one the other day, they're goal scorers' goals. And I've been delighted how he settled in with the lads, and a great lad and really brilliant round the players as well. So delighted with what he's brought.
Now, Boston United, as you touched on, mixed form for them to start this season, but you say there'll be a physical side. So how do you go about combating that on Saturday?
Listen, I think we face similar ones in terms of they're going to ask questions, and they'll put you in the ball in dangerous areas, and they'll get behind it, and they'll play at a real good tempo. And I think there's times when they want us to have the ball and look to counter, but real competitive, in every aspect of the game. Cocker's teams won't let you give you a minute, and they'll ask questions. They'll keep you honest at every moment, and we've got to perform. That goes without saying that you can worry about the opposition a lot, but we've got to get ourselves right, and that's the most important thing.
Back at Roots Hall again, and it's been quite an atmosphere. It's been 8,000 plus for your first 4 games as well. I mean, it's about 1,400 more than the nearest one. I think Carlisle United have managed. I mean, how big a factor is is at Roots Hall? What teams face when they come to Southend United? Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think when you say over 8,000 for 4 home games in a row, it's an unbelievable start to the season, and we're delighted that we give them a decent platform to back the team, and especially the North Bank now I think is brilliant, because it wasn't something that was there when I played, and it's sometimes when there might be a lull in the game that just naturally happens that the crowd take over, or the North Bank takes over and the West get going, and it makes a huge difference, because we've spoke to players we signed, etc. I know we spoke to Dallo about it, that when it's incessant and it's non-stop, it becomes really difficult for opponents and opposition teams, and they'll want to come and keep them quiet. So that the more we can get the crowd get into it, the better it is for the players and us. Yeah, let's go. Ariana's just got a couple of questions.
So how important is a home win off the back of a loss, looking ahead to Boston, another game at home?
Yeah, listen, I think it's always. I think anytime you lose, you don't want to lose. We hate losing. So it's just responding the right way, whether that's home or thing. Your home form's always important throughout the season if you're going to be successful, and that's no different.
And all 3 goals headers, is that something you've been working on, or creating the play something that just happened?
Yeah, no, I think last year we were right at the top end of the league for crosses in the box. I think it's the quality of the cross that went in, I've got to say, and it's something we work on getting into certain areas of the pitch as much as we can, and it's up to the players then to produce moments of magic or certain bits of quality at the right time. Thank you.
Most of the teams have swapped ends with the kick-off a couple of times already this season. Is that something that we're trying to do, or is it being forced on us?
No, that's not something we overly think about, to be honest. I think no, it hasn't crossed my mind or the lads' mind to do it. I think clubs will sometimes look at that and go, I'll turn them around, so we're attacking a certain end second half. But I do think the North Bank as well helps that. You're having that, so it's all our fans there as well. So no problem if you want to do that.
And with Nor, how hard is it in football? It might be a soft question, but when it's your friend and work colleague and you see them suffering out for so long, how hard is that sort of mentally for other players to sort of, even during the game on Saturday after coming back from that, it must be quite hard at times. Yeah,
it is, and I don't think it's soft at all. I think it's true. I think that's the human side of it, and I think when you've been with someone so long that these players have and do genuinely care about, I think it no doubt affects them. And once that gets over, and they can, I think they want to perform well for him. So that when he comes back, he's coming back into a good situation, and it should be that. And of course, he'll be supporting the team, and we'll be doing everything we can to make sure we get positive results for him as well as everyone else.
You've got Cav and James Morton. It's been a bit stop-start for Cav, but he's shown what he can do in that role previously. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's easy to. The way football is, you can move on from players too quickly, because it's competition for places. And Cav showed what he'd done against York when he played. Morts as well, we know what he'd done last year. So we're blessed in terms of what we got in that position. They've played together as well last year. So pleased to have them both. Obviously disappointed to lose Nor, but now it's someone else's chance to step up. And I think when you see Cav, he wants it so much and wants to do so well because how good he was the year before, and he's had a stop-start thing with injuries and that, but really needs to. You can tell he wants it so badly, and same with Morts. They're both itching at the bit to get going.
And take you down memory lane. We've had some memorable games with. I remember Tez going in goal and Leon Court's hat-trick. So, what do you remember of those days? Yeah,
I remember. The cat going in goal, Tez, wasn't it? Remember that? I think he made 1 or 2 saves, didn't he? It's quite funny when you look back at it. But please, and obviously Leon, he had headers there, was it?
Yeah, 3 headers.
3 headers as well, wasn't it?
I think you might have taken the corners.
A couple of assists there, but eventful and a bit out of the blue. So, quite good, good memories.
And do you know any more about your red card? Sorry to ask. There's any sort of...
No, I think, with the things come through from the FA and we've responded, so we're just waiting for something on that.